Poor Carl. He just wants a bite of corn. I've come to give some corn. I've thrown some out on the ground for Jan. But nope, she doesn't want that corn. She wants Carl. Run, Carl. Sorry, Jan. He's just not interested, baby. Carl! That's Jan. That's not me. You want food or not? It's not your thing? Carl, please. Water. Not really. Carl ran off before I got the water going. Of course, you all know why he ran off. Jan over here. Can we just talk about Janky Jan? Can we just talk about Janky Jan? Let's make this video about Janky Jan. I'm going to go in there and get a little bit closer to her. And we're going to make this video about Janky Jan. A lot of you guys need to know her story. You need to know her story. Y'all don't judge, okay? This is my version of the Carl Spanky Stick. The regular Spanky Stick wouldn't work on Carl. So he had to have a modified version. And I have found that the squeegee is lightweight, yet durable enough to, if Carl comes towards me, I can simply just raise my Spanky Stick high in the air, make a horrendous sound, and it usually, I say usually, it sends Carl going the other direction. Hey folks, Lester here. Our sprinkler has stopped turning for some reason. Jan, leave Carl alone. So we have this automatic sprinkler, and for some reason it has stopped turning. It used to spin on its own, and I think I don't have enough pressure turned on. I just kind of barely turned the water on, and that's what I think is the issue. And now I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't make it spin. Maybe I should just go ahead and let it sit there and spray in one area, and that way whatever babies want to use it can. Oh boy, flight school coming in. And see, the goats don't like water. If you guys don't know this, goats, they do not like water. And so our pigs love it. I've gotten my hands wet. Now I can't use my phone's not responding to my hands. The alpacas like water. The turkeys like water. And of course, Carl loves water. All of the feathered babies. But you know what? I don't think chickens like water, but the ducks and geese, obviously. I'm gonna put a little bit more pressure and see if this thing will start spinning for me. We're very blessed that we don't really need to water the babies down right now. It is midday, but as you can see, the skies are very overcast. These are still the remnants from the hurricane and then tropical storm Nicholas that came through here a couple of days ago. And so I guess if there is one thing that I can say about when we have that kind of weather, it does cool things off. See what I'm gonna do though, before I go inside that pasture, I'm gonna go show y'all her partner in crime. And I don't mean Cornholio. I mean the bird that came with her, her sister, from the farm that we rescued Jan from. Let's go take a quick peek at Marcia. All right, so what I'm about to show you is something that you may already know if you follow Jamie's page. This over here is one of our little ducks, our female ducks, and she's lying on a bunch of duck eggs. And we're hoping that at some point those will begin to hatch and we'll have little baby ducks walking around. And that would be cool because we've never raised any baby ducks. Now I'm about to climb on top of this hay because right on the other edge, on the other side of that, is a, should be a turkey, Marcia, who's also broody and laying on her own eggs. Let me get a foot and we'll climb up. All right, I'm making my way up onto the hay. And here we go. Hi, sweet girl. Now this over here is Marcia. And guys, I don't mean this in a mean way, but if you ever watched the Brady Bunch, you'll know that I think there were two sisters. One was Jan and one was Marcia. And the mean part is that Marcia was the prettier of the two. Hey, that's not just coming from me. I don't want to get too close. She's already a little bit bothered that I'm up here. But no, Marcia has laid her eggs here in this spot of the hay. And this is where she chose to lay on them. We do bring her food. And she comes out every once in a while to eat and drink and hang out. But she comes right back up in here. And I haven't read, and I haven't even asked Jamie how long it takes for a turkey's eggs to hatch. Well, here's the bad news, is that while I was off visiting Marcia, Carl has come to hang out in the water. And that's okay, it's midday, and that's part of his routine. And I don't see Jan anyway. I don't know where Jan's walked off to. All of the other babies have gone inside the barn there. This is their midday nap time. And so I'll have to spot. So Cornholio is over here hanging out under the little shed there. I don't see where Jan's gone off to. Ringo! Ringo! Sheesh, Ringo! Can't we all take a moment to appreciate Carl's style of leadership? Oh, my hands are filthy. Can we all take a moment to appreciate Carl's style of leadership compared to Ringo's style of leadership? Hold on a second. This is a little bit noisy. Let me wait till this turns off. Y'all don't judge, okay? This is my version of the Carl Spanky Stick. The regular Spanky Stick wouldn't work on Carl. So he had to have a modified version. And I have found that the squeegee is lightweight, yet durable enough to, if Carl comes towards me, I can simply just raise my Spanky Stick high in the air, make a horrendous sound, and it usually, I say usually, it sends Carl going the other direction. And I did say usually. So Carl sometimes gets possessed by the devil, and today he's upset that I turned off his water. Now you all want to see a Janky Jan video, and that's what I promised you, but I'm gonna have to wait until Carl leaves this pasture, which is what I normally do. Guys, I don't want to antagonize Carl. That would be dumb of me to sit here and antagonize him and impose my will upon him. At the same time, you don't want to play scared. You do not want to let an animal like Carl know he has the upper hand. So you have to sometimes work with him. It's kind of like as a teacher, you have a kid in your classroom who is a complete, just comes to school attempting to just bring down your class and every class he goes to. And it's not really the kid's fault a lot of times, guys. It's probably his environment that he's raised in. He might not have had a whole lot of adult supervision. He might not have a parent at home. He might be hungry. He might be going through all kinds of things that we're unaware of. And so you can't just let that kid come in there and take over your classroom and bring the whole class down. At the same time, you don't want to, butt heads with every kid who comes to you with a little bit of with a chip on their shoulder or with some kind of, and so that's the same thing with Carl. I guess being, all those years of a teacher has kind of helped me a little bit calm down. And this is a huge learning curve right now, though. And so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and take a few steps towards this little barn over here. And Carl's going to come at me. And you're going to probably be witness to some really awkward moments here, because I'll get tall and big if I have to. Now, what I don't want to do, hey, Jake, will you close this gate behind me? I don't want to leave the gate open and have Carl run out, because that would not be good. That would be horrible. Huh? What are you doing? Jake, I'm just going to go try to make a Janky Jan video, and Carl's not letting me. He just wants to be the center of attention. Just close that gate, please, Jake. Thank you. All right, now Carl's going to go mess with Jake a little bit and leave me alone. I'm going to continue on. So Ernie's okay. You all saw Ringo hook Ernie's leg. And I was saying before I walked out of here, aren't we happy in a way that Carl can be who he is and not try to get and hold power from being like Ringo? Ringo has beat up on everybody. Where did Janky Jan go? Ringo has imposed his will on everybody around here. Hey, Timmy, trying to find Janky Jan. Corny, where's your girl at? Guys, bear with me here. We're still looking for Janky Jan. I'm so sorry to call her that, but that's just kind of a name that is stuck. And that was from something that you guys come up with. Move, Carl. Oh, Oh, Carl, he does not like when I come here with my spanky stick. He does not like that at all. And guys, I'm gonna tell you something right now. You take this spanky stick that looks like some kind of satanic symbol as it is, and this horrendous noise that I've begun to make, and man, we can send Carl packing. And I've done it a number of times. I have my back to Carl, and I'm walking around looking for Janky Jan. Jan, where is that girl? Oh, really, Carl? Look at him. He's gonna come up from behind me. Did y'all see that? Carl's like, he has his back turned. Now's my moment. Carl. Looking for Janky Jan, not messing with you, Carl. I'm not gonna turn my back on him again, no. I don't know where Jan went. Seriously, I do not know where Jan went. Oh, I see her. Here she is. She's over here in the other pasture. All right. Watch Carl. Here he comes. I'm sorry y'all to hear that. I'm not sorry. Y'all need to know. Y'all just need to know. You have the need to know, and you deserve to know everything there is about this farm, including my horrendous... Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. Look, that noise freaks them all out. Now, Carl's upset because the babies are over here. I'm not messing with any of these babies. I only want to video Jan. All right. The only problem is Carl's not going to leave me alone, guys. A moment. What I should have done was close that gate. You know, me and Jake and L.E. have learned to work around Carl. Oh, I hate that this has become a Carl video when all y'all wanted to do was talk about Janky Jan. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. All right, so we'll try this. Bear with me, folks. Y'all have had to learn to be very patient with me. Janky Jan and Marcia, sister turkeys. They were rescued from a farm not too far from here where a neighbor's dog kept coming into the pasture, and it had at some point grabbed a hold of Jan and chewed her up pretty good, poor baby. So the owners had run the dogs off, and I think they had that dog come back to the pasture several times until they realized they could not keep their turkey safe. And so they reached out to us in an email and asked if we had any room for any turkeys. Of course, knowing that Jamie loves feathered babies and we also had cornholio, I was like, heck yeah. So it was me and Lex who went and got them that day. I have a little video of that. And at that point, man, Janky Jan, even though she may look a little rough around the edges now, she has come a long ways since day one. And okay, you can see the scar. Look at her back. You can see the wound on her back. Now that is still an old wound. Guys, in case you hear the fence, that's Shirley Bird. She has jumped up beside me and she's asking me nicely not to use a spanky stick on her. And I'm like, Shirley, I would never do that. All right, so look at Jan here. Now, Jan, even though she's a little rough around the edges, as we say, she's also a dominating force to be reckoned with. She is a woman scorned. Jan, can I look at your wound? So a lot of people ask us, how come she hasn't seen the vet? Y'all, she has been to the vet. You can't do anything with a wound like hers. The wound is more like a tumor at this point. We are happy that she's even alive. You can kind of see under her ruffled feathers there, the big tumor type growth. That is the remnants. So what happened is the dog actually broke the skin and she had muscle tissue that was protruding out of the wound. It had been a couple of days since the attack, and if you don't already know this, you can't stitch up an animal after it has gone that long without stitches. So the vet was unable to give her stitches, but they did treat her for any kind of infections, and they sent a topical stuff home with us. I don't know the name of it. Jamie knows all that stuff. I don't. And so we just began to, we had her in a stall for a couple of days. We were medicating her. And at some point, we allowed her and Marcia to come to the pasture with Cornholio. She's actually opened her feathers so we can see her wound now. Oh, Jan, I want to see it. I don't want to catch her. She is not wild per se, but she doesn't like to be handled by humans, obviously. And so she's turned just enough where you can kind of see that wound, but not really. Anywho, so Janky Jan has this amazing crush on Carl. And even though Cornholio likes to claim both she and Marcia as his own, Janky Jan has a thing for Carl. The problem is Carl has no interest in Janky Jan. And that's sad. We've made several videos about that, so I'm not going to repeat that kind of a video. But I will say this, now you know a little bit about Janky Jan's story, for those who don't know. You also know about this my newest line of self-defense against Carl, if I have to use it. You've also learned that I don't like having to make that horrendous noise and bring out my Carl spanky stick. All right, folks, I think that's about all. Look at here behind me. He's gonna walk me out of the pasture. Look at him. He got his wings and that. Look at this. You can learn so much from Carl. We have learned so much. His wings are in a very defensive posture. When he puts his wings out to the side, that gives him balance to kick. And so that right there lets me know that he's not real happy. Those are not the happy hands, as we joke about sometimes. But I have a whole lot more to tell you guys about Carl. Things that I've learned, things that I've read, things that I've seen videos on. But that is for a separate video. This one here was only about Janky Jan. Only Janky Jan. I'm going to go ahead and call the video that, since it was focused on Janky Jan. Seriously, you may have seen a lot, but our focus was always Janky Jan. All right, folks, y'all have a wonderful day. Bye, Carl.